Do you feel stuck in your songwriting and like you continue to use the same lyrics, same concepts, and same structures for a lot of your music? Then this video is for you. Let's talk. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to dive into a really interesting subject that has completely transformed my personal songwriting process, and I know thousands, if not tens of thousands of other creatives as well. But before we dive into that, if you enjoy content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash that like button. It really does help the YouTube algorithm push this video out to more creatives who could use this advice. Now for the subject of today's video, which is object writing. If you've never heard of object writing before, let me give you a brief explanation of how you utilize it, what it is, and also I'll show you an example of how I utilize this kind of structure to write one of my favorite songs that I've written, and I'll show you that specific object writing session and how I transformed it into a lyric structure. Object writing is a fantastic exercise to help you think outside of the box when it comes to your vocabulary, as well as improve the quality of your lyrics. So what exactly is object writing? It's actually really simple. Object writing involves selecting an everyday item or utilizing a random word generator and then setting a timer for 10 minutes. During this time, you're going to write everything that comes to mind about this object. Its sensory details, emotions, memories it evokes, and even abstract concepts it may represent. The key is to let your thoughts flow freely and poetically without any judgment on yourself. An added layer that I add for my own personal challenge is to not utilize the object word in my 10-minute structure. And that's essentially what object writing is, but I wanted to give y'all a real world example of how I have used this tool to improve my writing structure and help me hone in on more creative lyrics. And that means we need to go to my songbook. This is pretty vulnerable for me, not just because of the emotion behind some of the things that I'm writing, but also just because it's an inside look into some of the loose, messy writing process that comes with being a songwriter, a producer, a musician at all. And I really wanted to show y'all just kind of what that genuinely looks like. I try to do this at least a couple times a month just to kind of break myself out of the box and give myself new lyric structures and kind of expand my boundaries when it comes to songwriting. So we're gonna take a trip back to August 31st, 2021. I will say I was going through a lot at this time, and this object writing session just happened to be perfect for what I was feeling. In this specific instance, I used a random word generator, and the word that it gave me was fence. So as soon as I got the word fence, I set a 10-minute timer and just began to write everything that came up about the word fence, the way they looked, smelled, or made me feel emotionally, just anything inspired from that word fence. Like I said, this is pretty vulnerable for me, but I do hope that it helps any artist, any songwriter that's trying to break out of their shell when it comes to their songwriting process. So here is exactly what I wrote in 10 minutes on August 31st, 2021. I feel like I'm reading y'all a dark bedtime story or something. The object is fence. Cold metal, rough to the touch, but the familiarity of this linked enclosure brings about a sense of calm. A repetitive pattern of diamond determines my boundaries and limits my movement. It's a prison, but somehow my inability to leave its restraints feels comforting. It feels fortunate. It feels safe. Or maybe not yet safe. So I'll hide here until it does. I'll lie about my perception on my condition until I fully believe it myself. I'm stuck in a shell of my truest self. When that shell crumbles, what will be left? Until then, I'll hide in this rusty, cold enclosure. I'll hide until it feels safe. Will I ever recover? Will it ever feel safe? Is this metallic prison my savior or my reaper? I don't think I even know which I desire it to be. There's a nice little dark poem for you that I wrote in those 10 minutes that I gave myself. But now I want to show you how in that same day, it inspired one of my favorite songs that I've written. Here's a note that I have on my phone from that same day, August 31st, 2021. This 10-minute object writing session that I have in this book here became this entire lyric structure in that same day because I was able to break out of those molds and really expand my thinking when it came to the word fence. I'm going to read a couple random parts of this lyric structure and you'll be able to hear how it directly relates to the object writing session. Stuck in a shell of my truest self, crumble. How can I speak my mind? All I do is mumble. Savior, reaper, I can't tell what I wish for. So I'm hiding till I feel safe. Lying, it's all the same. I don't know if I'll recover, so I'm hiding till I feel safe. Once again, taken directly out of the object writing session that happened probably a couple hours before I wrote this song. Those are also just a portion of the lyrics related to the feelings and the emotions that were instigated by this object writing session. And those lyrics became my song Safe that I put out in 2021. The lyrics to that song are fairly dark and angsty and emotional, but what this object writing session allowed me to do, even in just 10 minutes, was break down the walls of lyric structure and just writing about strictly pain or strictly love or strictly money or, sex or relationships or whatever it is, and kind of open up a brand new world because of this word fence and what it brought about emotionally for me in that specific time of life. And it allowed that time of life to really be represented in the song, as opposed to writing so randomly that there was like no real connection to my life. So now I have a song where the lyric structure is unique and different. I haven't heard this song before. It feels uniquely mine. It's very true and authentic to the time of life that I was going through and some of the issues I was dealing with at the time. The song itself feels very real to me. And I feel like that's represented in the lyrics and the production style and what I was able to build after doing this songwriting session. And that's just one of many examples I have of how object writing has dramatically improved the way that I approach songwriting, the way I approach building out lyrical and melody structures. It can be an incredible way for you to break outside of your box and open up a brand new world lyrically for you and your music. This is not something that I do every day, and they're not always as poetic as that one is. Sometimes they're very rudimentary and feel very basic in their structure. This one just happened to be a little bit more emotional and a little bit more impactful in the structure. This is something that I try to do once a week or several times a month in order to help me improve on my lyric structure, and it's a great exercise to help flex the muscle of songwriting. But that's all it is, y'all. That's object writing, an incredible tool that I encourage everyone to try at some point in their songwriting journey. The more you practice exercises like this, the more your songwriting will evolve and the quality of your lyric structures will improve. If you found this technique helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.